What's going on, guys? So what I'm working on right now is setting up a live stream so you guys can actually see my screens in the morning time. This is going to be for Evolution Traders members. This is going to be for you guys who are lifetime gold members in the Discord. But what I want to be able to do is set this up in a way so you guys can see the screen live in the pre-market, live off that first hour for sure. If not a couple hours. That way you guys can see the levels I'm looking at. If you guys have any questions or any ticker symbols, you can just put them in the chat and then we can kind of take it from there. You know, so what I'm doing right now is just trying to set it up, make sure that it's going to run properly. I'm going to do a little test run today, just kind of watch the market for a little bit. It's currently 9:30 in the morning Pacific Standard Time. Today's Thursday, August the 10th. So that's what we want to kind of see right now. And we're just going to kind of just watch the screens accordingly here, and see, you know, what the deal is. But ultimately, you know, I think this would be a very, very good tool to have. And also what I'll probably do is these streams will be private to the Evolution Traders Gold members. You know, and they'll be live for you guys to see, and then I'll just upload them to YouTube for everyone else after the fact, right? So, you know, that way people can kind of see, you know, what we're looking at and then kind of take it from there. But as far as for being live in real time, you know, and being able to share the screen with everyone else, we're just going to do it for the guys in Discord and those lifetime members. So what I'm currently looking at here is the NQ. You know, we can see down here at the linear regression channel, we put in a nice little bottom, and then we had this reversal candlestick that's pushing into the 20 SMA. So this is a little bit of a long position off of the 15190s area. And again, I would be taking profits here because as you can see, we're going to come into a lot of resistance. Now, that's not to say that we can't push through, but it could get a little sticky as we kind of push higher here. Ultimately, I'd like to see us get back over 15300s. And then over 15350s. Now I was looking at Amazon, and Amazon put in a nice little short, but again, very, very quick scalp here as the market bounced. You can see below the 20 SMA and below that previous hour's lows at around 138.56 dropped to around 138. So about 50 cents in a matter of minutes, realistically. You know, we did have a level of support down here at 137.76, never got there. So again, you know, like what I preach, you know, if we're trading Amazon, we're trading Apple, we're trading anything that's under $100 for sure, or anything around that $100 price point like Amazon is. You know, if you can get 50 cents, 60 cents, 70 cents, 80 cents, $1, you want to be taking profits off and moving your stop loss to break even, just so you can kind of capture that money on the way down. Again, these are quick scalps. You know, again, you know, the later in the day that it gets, the harder it is to kind of catch the moves. So kind of keep that in mind. The later that it gets, the more you want to size down and take profits a lot quicker. So what I'm actually going to do here is, bear with me 1 second. I'm going to try to get this tested here with some of the guys in Evolution Traders. That's why before I start doing this, I want to make sure everything runs smoothly. I don't want to have any hiccups when it comes to me trying to do this live in real time. So again, what I'm actually looking here for is the link that I can send to the gold members. Normally when I go live, I'm just doing it public. It's never been private like this. I think this will be it here. So if I copy this link and then I send this to everyone in gold members, you guys will be able to get it. So basically how it'll work is I will get live and I will send the link in Discord, and then you guys can kind of join up very quickly, and then we'll be able to share the screens together, or I'll be able to share my screen. That way you guys can kind of see what's going on. So just kind of bear with me, guys. I'm getting everything set up. This is not like a real this is not a real like live stream where I'm just going to jump straight into it. I'm just going to get everything set up. I'm just going to kind of go over some levels here. I'm going to be typing a little bit. So again, you know, just kind of bear with me. So I'll kind of just stay on here live for, I don't know, maybe, you know, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Again, this is all going to be recorded, so these type of streams will definitely be uploaded to YouTube for the public to kind of watch and see what we were looking at, you know, the levels we were looking at, the, you know, kind of just the chit chat that's going on, and you know, for training purposes for everyone on YouTube after I'm done with my live stream with everyone from Evolution Traders. So I'm going to kind of treat this right now as a kind of like a little bit of a walkthrough, just to make sure, like, again, everything is running right and I can get from screen to screen okay, and nothing seems to be cut off or anything like that. Volume's working right, this, that, and the other. So we'll just start off with what I have on my screen. As I already mentioned, you know, NASDAQ 100's coming off of that linear regression channel. We've got a lot of supply here that you can see us, the bulls starting to push up through. Now, we got to get over the 15,295, and then from there we're going to have room to 15,313. So if that's enough room for you as a scalper to kind of see if you can get that confirmation, potentially a 15-point scalp there. Now again, we were already rejected one time off the 50 SMA before, and again, you know, for some of you guys that aren't in the room or know how I trade, who are going to be watching this on YouTube later after the fact, this chart here, right, this chart here is basically used to kind of understand where our potential is at, right? So the more congested it looks, the harder it is to trade, right? Because we've got a lot of supply and demand zones. What I typically like to see is space. So over this red line, which is a 50 SMA, I want space, right? Underneath this blue line, which is a 10 SMA on a 5-minute time frame, I want space. If we lose this linear regression channel, I want empty space. Look at all the empty space here. That would be a short position. This would be a short position. This would be a long position. This would be a little bit of a scalp there. Again, obviously over the top channel would be, again, open skies to start testing some of this price action over here. And then if we look to the left, we can see Amazon. So Amazon, this is a 1 hour time frame. I was looking at the 1 hour candles. Like I said, briefly confirmed for 50 cents there. Again, if you're not an experienced scalper, I'd kind of stay away from these moves the later on in the day that it gets, just due to the fact that if you didn't really know that you should be taking, you know, 50 cents on 50-60 cents on Amazon, you know, you could have gotten stopped out and trapped there. Just look at the ATR here sitting at around 81 cents. So if you can get 50, 60, 80 cents, you know, you got to be thinking about taking profits. And at the point in time where we kind of confirmed here, you know, that ATR was sitting at around 75 cents. So again, this is on a 1 hour time frame here. If you were to actually realistically look at when we lost that level here, okay, so look at the level that we lost when we kind of came shooting all the way down. Your ATR is only about 35 cents. So what does that mean, right? What does that mean? ATR, the average true range of the 5-minute candle, is around 35 cents. So if you do take the short through the 138.43 and you took that breakdown, you know, kind of look at the ATR between 30 and 40 cents. And if you can, you know, get that 1R on it, you know, start locking in profits. And then obviously if we confirm 138.04, you would want to take that short into the next demand zone at 137.19. Obviously that never happened. So you would have been stopped out at break even on that trade. Your original short position on this was when we lost the 20 SMA at 7:40 in the morning here. You can see that price got confirmed at around 139.67. So this was the move between 139.67 all the way down to 138. Again, that's about $1.50 move there. So that was a hell of a short trade for everyone to kind of jump on if you were, you know, sitting by the screens and you're watching Amazon. So we're going to kind of go through other ones now. Nvidia presented great setups, not only to the long side but to the short side as well. If we kind of look at Nvidia's 5-minute time frame chart here, and I want to show you guys something off the bell. We put in a little bit of a low here. That's why I marked it out with this red dotted line, that 418.35, and then immediately shot up. So when we immediately shot up here, we got our first close back over the 20 SMA. All you're looking for here is a confirmation. Now understand that we've got a level of supply here at the 200 SMA, and we've also got more supply here at the 200 EMA. But again, even with this, you have the rising 5, which is the green line. You've got the linear, you've got the 10, the 20 to kind of use as trailing supports and use as trailing stops. Your entry should have been somewhere around the 427, 428 range. And our max potential is the next macro level on the 5-minute time frame supply zone. And that was the top channel here at the linear regression. So essentially you should have got long somewhere here off the bell, 635, 640, even 645, the break when we finally had a lot of airspace to kind of travel. That was definitely an area where you would want to try to get long here if you wanted to wait for just a tad more confirmation. And again, that's why I like to use this chart, because this chart is going to kind of show you, exactly, you know, where we have potential to go to. So we want to try to trade with the most amount of space. We don't really want to trade when it's super congested like this, when it's pitter-pattering back and forth. We want to kind of wait for it to have open gaps, and then we want to take those confirmations and then take profits into the next area. So if you would have gotten in somewhere between 428s or 429s, you know, you're thinking about taking profits before 433. And if that's your thought process, because you already understand that we do have levels of supply there, then you would have made $2-3 on this move potentially within 30 minutes. Now the second trade that happened here was once we got rejected here at 7 o'clock in the morning, we've seen this big wick here. We never had any follow through to kind of push towards the 440s. The next short position here was doing something like this, was to actually, and Andre in Discord and Evolution Traders actually took this short play here. So the thought process on that was, when we broke this linear regression channel here and we put in this high at 435.72, you're going to use 475 or 435.72 as your stop loss. Kind of wait for red to take out green, right? So red taking out green. Yes, we have support here. We've got support here. We've got support here. But again, we play from demand to demand to demand to demand, right? So one thing that you kind of have to look at here is once we start to get rejected with no follow through and we start to lose the power trending 5 SMA here, we can jump short, giving ourselves that $2.5 risk here, size appropriately, and then kind of play it from, you know, 433s down to 431. And if we close below that, look for the next level, 429. And I believe this is where he kind of cleaned up his position here. And again, when you clean up your position at a level of demand, that's completely fine. One thing you want to start looking towards now is, if we do bounce, do we stay under the other remaining supply zones? And you can see here, we make that push up into the 5 and 10 day moving average and then get absolutely slammed again. So absolutely picture perfect entry here. Obviously, you know, no one's ever going to really catch the whole move. But essentially, I mean, you know, it never really gave us a reason to kind of get out. Now, I was in this short position as well, but I got in a little bit later here, right around the 710 candle, when we actually broke down below the 5 SMA and kind of cleaned up this area and started taking profits at the 10, sold half size, and then took the rest of my profits here at the 429. So even with that move, you know, lasted 15-20 minutes. And in that move there, you know, went from a price ultimately of 432 down to 428, 429, which is talking about $2-3 move. Now, if you look at the ATR on NVIDIA, you're looking at anywhere between $1.50 and $2. So my rule of thumb is always this: if you can grab yourself 1-to-1, get the fuck out of the stock, right? I don't care if it's the whole position or it's half size. Definitely lock up some money. And just kind of quickly here, looking at the triple Qs, having a breakdown here off the little bit of a bear flag setting up here. So this 5-minute 20 play is setting up here. We need this candle to close. Again, we've got that support sitting at 15,192. So that's definitely something we're going to have to keep in mind here. If anyone's going to take a scalp on this, right? If we're going to take a scalp on this short, we need to let this candle close still, which we got about 13 seconds left. This candle needs to close and then it needs to be confirmed. And when this candle gets confirmed, we're trying to take profits on the way down, on the way down, on the way down. Okay. Because we can get maybe, you know, 3/4 of the way down and have an immediate snapback bounce. So we might not have any more follow through until we lose the 15,190. So that's definitely something that you're going to want to kind of keep in mind as well. But just kind of going back to that NVIDIA trade that I was discussing there. So it presented two potential setups, you know, one long and one short. And other than that, we haven't really got anything too significant yet. Right now, you're getting a little bit of a short position here, maybe below 423.52. But again, like I said, the later on in the day that it goes, the less likely these moves are going to pan out. You know, the majority of my money is made between the bell at 6:30 and 9 o'clock, you know, but that's the majority. That's where I'm, you know, paying the bills, right? So I'm paying the bills within that first 2-hour kind of window. And then I'm essentially just kind of watching these levels for tomorrow. Or if I see something that absolutely looks good, you know, I'll consider taking a trade, but I'm always going to size down later on in the day like this. I'm never really going to, you know, put on max size, you know, after lunchtime. It's not worth it for me, at least, right? Especially if you're already green on the day, you don't really need to mess around with that, right? So again, what I would be looking at here if someone was going to scalp, again, I mean, I would play small, you know, one contract, you know, nothing too crazy, 2 contracts, depending on your account size. And definitely if you're trading on a personal account versus a funded account, if you're trading on a funded account, right now is not the time you want to go max size, but maybe, you know, go 1-2 contracts, see if you can be able to take a little bit of money on the way down. You could also use the 10, the 5, or the 20 as a stop here if you don't want to give it a full 1 bar. And definitely, you know, kind of play it that way. See if we get down into this range, right? Because this ultimately would be where we would want to come down into the 1.5-210s or into the 1.5-190s. That would be the area that you would want to try to clean up, right? So, you know, if stocks are going to trade from supply to supply and demand to demand, well, we would be looking for this confirmation to start coming down into this range, and we want to be taking profits when we get them. You know, you don't never want to expect that this is going to continue to go all day. We just have a general understanding. You can also see NVIDIA breaking down as well here, setting up a nice little 20 play. That's going to have a little bit of support sitting at 421. Again, I took this short on my Apex funded account here. So let me just kind of manage this trade very quickly here. Up $140 on my runners here. So sitting on 8 micros at the moment. Started with 20 of them. I'm just going to sell a couple more here. And I'm going to see how far we can continue to push down. If we can continue to push down, current last 4 running contracts are up $94, 88, 102. So I want to see how far we push. Do we touch the Bollinger Band? And this is what I mean about, we want to be taking profits into this area. I don't need it to touch per se. I just need it to get close, right? So currently up $142 on the remaining 4 contracts, and I'm probably just going to fucking sell them here. Give it 1-2 more kind of jot downs here and see if we can kind of push into that area of demand. And if I see an aggressive spike, I'll just sell out, right? Like, I'm not going to look to mess around with this. If we get an aggressive kind of like a wick, you know, I want to get out. I want this to keep with the pressure down. Current 4 contracts, micros, again, 188, 156. I'm out of that position. So again, the thought process on that was looking at the 20 SMA breakdown. Okay, so looking at this breakdown, close below the 20, the 5, the 10. I'm looking for entry somewhere around 15,231, and I'm not even gonna fucking hesitate, right? There's no reason to hesitate. Because you get the breakdown here, either the trade's going to work or it's not, right? And if it doesn't work, well, then we have to understand, you know, that's just the name of the game, right? We're never going to be right every single time. And look at how close we're getting here to this demand zone. So you can see from a price of 15,230s all the way down to 15,202, we're talking about 30 points, you know, we're talking about 30 points. If you can't make money on 30 points, if you can't make a living on 30 points, you know, we got problems, right? We have definite problems. You know, if you can't see that this is a potential short setup here, we've also got problems, right? So if this is not a short position to you and you're scared, well, then now you're fear trading. You're not taking trades because you're in fear of losing. And when we're in fear of losing is when we make mistakes, because we're already emotional going into the trade. For me, when I see these moves, I don't hesitate. I'm expecting to lose already. Every trade I go into, I'm expecting to lose. And when it goes in my favor, I'm going to take profits. I'm expecting to lose, but if it goes in my favor, I'm taking those profits. And I constantly remind myself that each and every single trade that I'm taking, because of the fact that I have no control of what goes on after I'm in the move. All I have control of is where the hell I'm going to get out. That's it, right? I see that the setup is there. I've taken these setups thousands of times, and thousands of times they work, and hundreds of times they fail, right? So what's the worst that can happen? I lose. So what? There's going to be another one, because I've already seen 1,000 of them set up before. And a lot of times people have trouble swallowing that pill because they don't want to lose, or, you know, the strategy is not supposed to fail. You know, it's like, that's not the case though. So that's not the case. So we'll just look at a couple more stocks before I end this. I already got confirmation that the stream is working, the volume is there. So, you know, just to kind of do some analysis on Tesla really quick. There was also a level on Tesla that I put in this morning that worked as well. So we had 2 entries here on Tesla. If we look at the pre-market high sitting at around 246, we get that confirmation breakout at 246. Okay, you know, we get that confirmation over the pre-market highs off the bell. Okay, so all we're basically going to do is trail our stop loss with the 1-bar stop or a close below the 20. At 635, we should have been getting long. And what are we thinking already? We're thinking taking profits into the next major area of supply. That's sitting at 248.67. So from a price of around 248.70s into 248.67, we look at Tesla's average true range is $1. So that's a 2R trade there. There's no hesitations why I'm not taking $2 on Tesla. Kind of mentioned it this morning when I was live with a couple of the guys that if you can make $1, $2 off Nvidia and Tesla, and you can identify these moves daily, right? If you can identify those moves daily, then you're going to make a great living, right? It's those traders who are trying to, you know, look back at Tesla and see that it was up $8, $9 on a day and think, well, if I was just long, you know, I would have made $8 on the stock today. The probability of you making $8 on the stock all in one day is probably slim to none, and just unless you have absolutely no idea what you're doing, and you click the buy button, came back at the close, and you sold it, right? You know, majority of traders are going to be sitting at the screens watching these candlesticks, and the emotions do play a big part in that, and it's going to be very, very difficult to hold a whole day, you know, when Tesla or Nvidia are up $8. So again, you know, pre-market highs was at 246 off the bell. We confirmed that. Now you can take that early jump and take the pre-market high break and set that 1 bar stop here at 244.50s. So essentially you're risking $1.50. Assume you lost the $1.50, right? Because what's the worst thing that can happen? It closes below that and we lose $1.50. So what? It's not the end of the world, right? I mean, we're not, you know, what are we going to do? Sit and cry because we lost $1.50 on Tesla? This thing has paid out hundreds of dollars, you know, like multiple trades for $2 here, $3 there, you know, $1.50 here. You know, we scrape dollars off of Tesla and Nvidia daily, right? I mean, weekly. I'll just say that. So again, you know, make sure that you understand, you know, how much you're risking when you go into these trades. And again, you know, over 246.10, you know, you want to be taking profits here at the next area of supply. And if we break that supply, hold a runner, right? So if you take 10 contracts, for example, take 10 contracts, sell 5 here, and if we close over, we'll sell every push higher after that. Start scaling off, right? So play it like that. And the next short position that set up here was realistically at 755, and that entry price was around, you know, 248.90s, and that dropped all the way down to 244. So there was a $4 move there. Again, you would want to be taking profits $1 down, $1 down, $1 down, and $1 down. That's the exact way that you want to play it. You keep selling $1 in your favor on Tesla and Nvidia until you're all out of your position. If you're playing something smaller like Amazon or Apple or AMD, you know, you're selling half your position at 50 cents, 60 cents, and then every like 20 cents after that, you know, it goes up 80 cents, you're selling more. It goes $1, you're selling a little bit more. So just understand, you know, what the ranges are on the stocks you're playing, you know. Like, for example, if we're playing Apple, we're not going to be sitting there waiting for $4 on the day, right? I mean, you know, we're not going to wait for $4 on Apple. That doesn't really make any sense to, you know, think that we're going to fucking get $4 on Apple. Like, I'm not saying that it's not going to happen, but, you know, we're not talking about Tesla. You know, we're not talking about Nvidia. But when we are talking about Tesla and Nvidia, and we are taking these scalps, so for those of you guys who are going to be watching these live streams and trying to trade, when we're taking Tesla scalps, like for example myself or Andre or Biggs, I know we play these type of bigger names. Even Leo is playing these names, and Penguin is also playing these names. Guys, we're trying to take the dollar, take half size. We're trying to get $1.50, $2. We're trying to get out. And then every, you know, 50 cents, $1 up, we're selling more. We're selling more. I don't care if Tesla goes up $20. If I took $2, $2.50, $3 on it, I am fucking happy, because I can do that weekly, you know. And if you don't believe that you can do it weekly too, we got a fucking problem, right? Like, we got a fucking problem. At this point in time of the game, however long you've been sitting at the screens, however long you've been learning strategies and all this, that, and the other, you have to understand and know setups happen every single fucking day. I mean, every day there's a setup long, there's a setup short, every day. Maybe it's not Tesla, maybe it's Nvidia. Maybe it's not Nvidia, maybe it's Microsoft. Maybe it's not Microsoft, maybe it's Meta. But there's something moving every day. And if we understand that this is all probabilities, yes, we're gonna lose. We're gonna lose trades. But if we tighten up our risk and we stay in the game, we're gonna catch these winners. Like today, I would consider an awesome premium day. Now, you might look around social media, you might look around, or you might even think, well, the market's choppy. We went up, we came down. Yeah, but the market provided opportunities to go long And if you understand where to take profits, you should have made money. And the market provided opportunities today to go short. And if you understand your levels of supply and demand, you should have made money. And if you didn't make money and maybe you scratched and you're even today, that's fine too. That's a win in my book as well. But if we sat there today and we took 5 trades and we're down 500, we're down 1,000, I need to know why. I need to understand why. Why are we down 500? What stock did we play that gave us that much false security to where we lost money? Because we all should have made money the first 2 hours of the market. At least something. At least something. So let's just continue down the list here. We'll look at Amazon or Apple really quickly. So if you look at Apple, right? Look at Apple. So look at Apple getting over these pre-market highs at 180, and it went up to 180.72. Apple's average true range is about 35 cents per 5-minute candle, right? Per 5-minute candle. So if we got 70 cents and the ATR is 35, we basically 2R'd our initial entry. Yes or no? Right? And if 70 cents is not enough for you to start thinking about taking profits, remember what I said, Apple, if we can get 50 cents, 60 cents, 70 cents, 80 cents, take your fucking money off the table. If you get $1 and you're holding a runner, sure, take some more off at $1, take some more off at $1.25. You know, work in like 25 to like 30 cent increments on Apple and AMD. And then on the bigger names, obviously work, you know, closer to the dollar. But I mean, look at the short setup. So again, look at when we got rejected. We put in the high to 180.77. We came all the way back down to the original breakout spot. We couldn't hold this level, closed below. I hope you guys can see this. Let me blow this up a little bit more. Look at when we closed below the 20 period moving average. We came all the way down to the next area of demand, which is the 50. Now there's a lot of support here. So what's going to happen when we're all congested like this? This is not ideal trading for me. This here doesn't look good. However, let's respect the move. 180 is our stop, the top of this candle. 180 is our stop. Look at where our support's at. What is going to happen? If it's all mumbled and jumbled up like this, what's going to happen? Come down, bounce, come down, bounce, come down, bounce. Oh, we're breaking down. Nope, let's go all the way back up. The more supply and demand that you have all stacked on top of each other, the choppier the action. But look at what happens once we clean up the 200 SMA, which is the bottom demand. Look at what happens. Boom, boom, boom. You get drastic drops from 178.80 all the way down to 177.95. This is a $1 drop. And our entry was here at 179.44. This is a $2 move. Almost a $2 move on Apple, which I already said, if we can get 80 cents, 70 cents, $1, that's a home run. This SOB gave us $2 on the move. So even if we took 3 contracts, let's say we play so small, we took 3 contracts, we sell all the way down here, you know, on our first 70 cents. And then when we break and we go down another 20 cents, sell again, and we go down another 20 cents, sell again, you would have taken $1.40 off the move. $1.25, easy. Easy. And that's, you know, at least $40 to $50 a contract. So you should have made at least $100, $150, $200 on Apple, even trading small size, $100 minimum, right? Let alone if you're playing something like bigger, like 10 contracts, you would have made $300, $400 in a matter of a couple of hours. I mean, come on, you know, most people work, you know, 8 hours a day, and you know, the average, I'm talking about the average. I'm not talking about if you have a trade. I'm not talking about if you have a skill set, like a, you know, high paying skill set, but the average American making anywhere between $15 and $25 an hour. And, you know, and you break that down, that's $150 to $250 a day. We're talking about you could potentially have put in, you know, probably $1,500 in premium, taken 10, 15 contracts and potentially made around 300 in just a couple of hours, right? Where can you do that at? So start learning the skill set, start having the right mentality, start trusting yourself. You know, fear is the biggest issue. Let me take a look at Microsoft. Fear is the biggest problem that we have as a trader. Yeah, I'm still testing, buddy. I'm just, you know, shooting the shit. This video, once I'm done, will get uploaded to YouTube. So the basic idea, what I want to do here, make sure this is running clean, is, you know, if I can do this in the morning for you guys privately, where it's not on YouTube publicly, you know, we can I can jump on here, I can go over some of the levels, and then if you guys want to just leave it on the background where my charts are up, you know, that way you can kind of see if I say, you know, like for example, like look at the left hand side of the screen here. For example, if this was in the morning time, right, if this is off the open, you know, I would be talking about we're pulling into the 50 SMA. You know, we've got to really confirm the 50 SMA, but even below that, we're going to have support here. So, you know, potential bounce on Microsoft. But if Microsoft can clear up the pre-market highs at 327, we're going to have initial supply at 327.55. So we got only 50%, only 50 cents worth of room here. You know, if you do understand that you're going to run into supply zones here, and then if we put in a high, you want to take your profits on that. And as we started to pull back into this 50, we closed below the 20 here. I would be saying, you know, something like, hey, you know, guys, 327 is going to be our top, you know, max pain. We're going to have a little bit of more resistance here at 327.49. But if we jump this short, you know, we'll give up $1. We'll give up $1 here. It would really have to get over this level to kind of clean us up, and we'll just sit fucking short, right? So we can sit short from 325 all the way down to at least a 200, which is 324. That's $1 moving, and look at what happens. Once you really have space, it just opens up, right? And I can do the same thing for the futures. That way, it might benefit some people just hearing me talk. I know Andre always, you know, we always talk on the phone or whatever in the mornings too when there's no one else listening. So, you know, we're always kind of BSing and going over trades. But it's basically like that, right? I mean, you know, like, for example, if someone was in the Microsoft short trade here, you know, the analysis on this is like, as long as we stay below this, you know, declining 20 period moving average, you know, continue to hold it and take profits on the way down. Take your profits, take your profits, take your profits. But, you know, same thing with the NQ. So I know you play futures. So if we look at what the futures did off the bell, right? So look at what NASDAQ did, for example. So NASDAQ had a level, like, if you go back to the futures channel, 15,360, right? So that 15,360 area was the spot I put in there. Needs to clean it up, right? And before I start talking out of my ass, let me make sure that I'm correct here. So let me see here what I said exactly. So, okay, right here. So in the morning at 6:24 in the morning, so right before the market opened, 15,360 needs to be confirmed. So this will also help too, because a lot of times the lingo, right? The lingo, the words that I use, every trader has their trader talk, right? My trade talk is different than the next guy's. So, you know, the more you guys get comfortable with my trade talk, the way that, you know, that I trade, the way that I'm kind of trading, you guys will understand. So for example, let me break this down for you, because you guys see this in Discord but don't really understand maybe what I'm talking about. So 15,360 needs to be confirmed for bulls, or losing 15,247 has room to 15,193. So what does this mean? I post a chart here, 15,360. Why am I posting 15,360? So what am I looking at? I'm looking at the linear regression channel. See this blue line? This blue line here was the 15,360. So 15,360 needs to be confirmed. What does that mean? We need to break 15,360 and then close over it. So once we break 15,360, here's our high. So I'll go ahead and do this. This is what I do personally. I'll do something like this. I'll put a little line here and I'll say, okay, we broke this level, 15,360. Now we could have jumped 15,360. That's what you would call a first entry. Now, a first entry, think about it like this. If we're all going to war, right? We're foot soldiers. We're all going to war. This is old school. You know, we got our shields and our freaking knives, right? If we're going to battle, that first move, which is the 15,360 break, would be considered your first entry. Okay. Now, what happens when you're in battle and you're the first guy on the line and you're charging forward? Those guys are generally the first to go, right? They're the first to get put down. So we can take the first entry. That's fine. Just understand that taking the first entry, so the first break of 15,360, we need to treat that as a scalp, because that can go put in a high and it could have completely came back down. We don't know that it was going to continue to run. It could have completely come back down. So if we take a first entry, get in, get green, get out. That's my slogan. Get in, get green, get out on a first entry. Okay. Now, what I posted in the Discord channel was 15,360 needs to get confirmed. What I mean by that is it needs to close over that. So 15,360 is our pivot. Okay. And then when we confirm it, means I need a 5-minute candle close over that. And then I'm looking for a confirmation, that which would be at 6:50 in the morning. So 6:45 candle breaks it. That sets our pivot of 15,386. And then right here at 6:50 is our confirmation. So we would be getting in around 15,386, and we're looking to scalp, 15, 20, 30 points. And that all depends on how much size you're taking. So someone playing 10, 20 contracts, maybe you can take 5 handles. Someone who's playing 1 or 2 contracts, maybe you want to shoot for 15 or 20 or 25. And if we kind of see where this runs, I also, am a big advocate of, if you get 2 pushes higher, 3 pushes higher, which means this is our entry. This would be considered our first push higher over our pivot. This would be our second push higher. This would be our third push higher. If we start getting 1, 2, I'm taking profits. 3, I'm taking profits for sure. 9 times out of 10. And it's also, this is 3 pushes higher. And then once we start to consolidate, we have no more continuation. I'm also looking at the 15,386, which was our pivot, to see, does this hold? Because now if this area holds, then this would be considered a break, retest for a potential new high. And I would be looking for this to push back up, and I would need to see a green candle take out this red candle and continue to push higher. And I might actually take a scalp there and look to take profits back at the highs and then hold a runner if we break that. But we didn't hold the level. We came back down to the 20. So, just for shits and giggles here, if this was in the morning time when I'm kind of going over this, I would be letting everyone know, like, hey, we're coming back down to test the 20. But if we lose the 20 and we break below this linear regression, we've got room down to the 50 EMA and the 50 SMA. That's our potential. So our potential was below 15,360s, which was the original breakout spot, or the candle close at 15,342. And then we would look to be taking profits into 15,332, which is 10 points. And then if we break that, we're looking at the next level, which is 15,317. So again, that's 20 to 30 points there. So, and then essentially, every level down, we could take profits, and that's how you treat it. And that's why this chart is so beneficial. Now, we don't need to use this chart. I just use this chart to kind of know when I'm actively trading, what the hell is going on and where potentially are we going to stop. But I mean, this chart with the 20 and the 200, you can play just as well. So if you look at the first setup here, if anyone's trading a pre-market, you got your setup at 545. But if you look at the opening bell candle, where's the opening bell candle? Here's the opening bell candle. Here's our session highs from the overnight. What will we be looking for? A break of the overnight session highs. And what's that price? 15,357. What was the price on the linear regression? 15,360. So there's a 3-handle difference there. Do we really need the linear regression? No. But now you're kind of guessing, right? Because where could we potentially be stopping? Like, and then when we start dropping, where could we be dropping? But it is what it is. I just like to use it for confluence, so we can kind of see, hey, this is potentially where we can stop out. This is potentially where we can take profits, blah, blah, blah. So look at when we close back under the 20 SMA. So we close under the 20 SMA, which put us back into the overnight session, right? Overnight session range. And look at when we confirm 15,341. So 15,341, where should we be thinking about taking profits? Set a 1-bar stop here. Boom, that's your stop loss. There's your entry. This candle at 745 is your entry. Where should we be taking profits? If stocks are going to trade from supply to supply and demand to demand, now that we've broken down the 20 SMA, where is our next level of demand? Even on this chart, it's the 200 SMA. Look at the yellow line. Look at where this trades down to, the 200 SMA. So I want to be taking profits into the 200 SMA. And when we get here, I want to close that position. Okay. So look at this bounce. We can get technical and we can get crazy, right? There's so many ways to play the charts. So an aggressive scalper could also say this. Here's a thought process for you. We pulled back into the 200 SMA. We're going to bounce, right? Let's use the low wick as a stop. When green takes out red, we get long. So your long position, 15,290, and you're looking for 3 pushes higher, right? 1 push, 2 push, 3 push. 15,290, all the way up to 15,316. That's 25 points, guys. So if we're taking 10 points, 15 points, 20 points, not only did we scalp this for 15, 20 points, we scalp this for 15, 20 points. What becomes our next short play? Next short play would be a breakdown through this wick that cracked below the 200, and that comes here. And look at the move, 845 confirms first entry is here, right? First entry is here. So if you're going to jump the first entry, remember it could snap back. Use a 1 bar stop. First entry, 15,261 drops to 15,207. Hell of a move, right? So look at those, start identifying these different plays. There's different ways to play it. The 20 here, you know, different ways to play the 200. They all can be played, but it's 1, have confidence. 2, make sure you know where your out is at. 3, understand you will lose. You know, we will lose. We're not going to win every trade. Look at this back test here. This drop that this last drop that we had, we back tested into the 20, never confirmed getting over the 200 here. So this declining 20 SMA confirms, but I really wouldn't be looking to take a long position here when we have the 200 here and we're on a downtrend now, right? So ignore that. Drop, first back test of the 220 SMA going all the way back to 740 in the morning. So this is a first time in 3 hours. The first time in 3 hours that we've been able to back test a 20 SMA. And look at the drop here. Another confirmation of a 20 play short, 15,230 all the way down to 15,192. Again, another 30-point move. Here was the last 20 play. So if you're realistically looking just for 20 plays, you know, you're just sitting on these plays here. You would have taken this one short, never got close to stopping you out. Boom, take profits into the 200, let it consolidate, let it back test, let it fail. Here's your second one here, 15,230s, all the way down to 15,183. 50-point move again. Boom. 20, 30 points here, 20, 30 points there. Now you're up 30, 40 handles on a day. You can probably call it a day. And that's not even sweating it. Like there's no stress to that at all. Like, right? Like what stress is involved in that? You know, play small size if you're stressed. But not taking trades because you're in fear of losing is going to kill your momentum. It's going to kill your development as a trader. The only way you learn what not to do is by taking trades and figuring out what didn't work. So again, when I go to this chart here, how I built this chart over the years I've been trading was when I would fail moves, or I would get stopped out, and I would lose trades, I would be so pissed off. I would wonder, why the hell did this stop me out? Why the fuck didn't this continue to go? Right? Well, when I started looking at it and I started adding on this SMA and adding on this EMA, I would start to see that these levels get respected more than they don't. So when I would get stopped out on a move that I thought was going to continue to the upside, and I had no idea that there was a linear regression channel there, and then it would retrace all the way back down to the middle of the range, I started to think, If I start playing into that, where I'm going to take profits into that top channel or bottom channel, depending if I'm long or short, I will win more trades. And then I started noticing we respect the 50 as well. We also make a pit stop at the 50. We also make a pit stop at the 200. You know what? These Bollinger Bands seem to hold us up a little bit. And that's why I kind of use these charts. Now, I like when there's gaps. So for example, over 15,300 on the NQ, gap. I love this. Let's get over this. Let's confirm it because I know we've got room to run. Look at once we really lost the 20 and the 10. You know, we had a little bit of support here, and then now it's the linear regression. And look at where we're at here at the bottom channel. So being that there's nothing below, right? Look at how there's nothing below this. When there's nothing below this, I need to know now what is our next level. So what I will do is I will put a little bit of a line right here. I'll flip to the 1 hour time frame, and I'll kind of look now. What's the next area? If we continue down south, look at where the Bollinger Band's at, 15,155. That would be potential. That would be potential. Below 15,155, I've got to go to this low here from yesterday, 15,146. And anything below 15,146, what's next potential? Go to the daily. And you can see on the daily, that's the 50 EMA. You can't even make this shit up, guys. So think about it. When you start off on the 5-minute chart and you put in that low, and then you look to the 1 hour chart and see, oh, okay, I see where there's potential why we're going to stop there. And then if you take that low out and now you look at the daily, it becomes clear. Look at the daily chart on the NASDAQ. You've got a 50 EMA sitting here at 15,144. That potentially is the next stop. If we keep breaking down, that potentially is the next stop. And God forbid the bulls lose 15,124. Look at the gap here. This is going to absolutely free fall. For example, let's say today, I'll hypothetically speak here. Let's say today we close below the 50 EMA on the daily chart, and we confirm that tomorrow. Things are going to aggressively wash out across the board on, big tech. Look at this inverse hammer candle. This is setting up for an absolute destruction here. I can see us by the end of August trading at 14.78. By the end of August, 14.78. And then I can see us bouncing from there. That would pull us all the way back here. Your next stop might be 1,500 or 15,000, and then 14.85s. Those would be stops. And then your max stop would be 14.782. That's your daily linear. So look at where we came up to on the daily chart. It works on every time frame, right? So like you kind of gauge, right, where you should be playing based off of the daily. Based off of the daily, the last 3 days we should be short biased, just based on the daily, right? More short biased. So when you look at it that way, that's how you can kind of make up your daily bias, right? Not saying that we can't play long or we can't play short, but if we're trading below the 5-day moving average, I really don't want to be going long, right? Like we're like the bulls are showing that they don't have control of the 5-day moving average. Now, why is the 5-day moving average important? The 5-day moving average generally is going to tell you who controls price action for the next day. So if we're trading below the daily 5-day moving average, it's telling you who has control of the day. Now the 10-day moving average is generally telling you who's controlling the week. If you look at it like that, who's in control of the week here? Is it the bulls or the bears? So if we're below the 5 and 10-day moving average, the bears are in control of price action. I want to be thinking more downside moves, so I'll be looking for the downside setups a lot more. And if you kind of see here, if we lose, right, we're below the 50-day moving average, which is very, very significant on a technical standpoint here. But the 50 EMA is the next stop, right? That's the next stop. So this 15,115, right? 15,115, that's the next stop here. And if we start to break below that, we've got a shit ton room down here. We've got to be thinking washout, and we've got to be thinking extended move back test, at least for the month of August. At least for the month of August, because even on a dead cat bounce, we've got a lot of work to do before we can go back up to the upside. So that's how you can kind of set up your daily bias, right? Even though we play the 5-minute time frame, well, if we're below daily supply, 5-day moving average, 10-day moving average, I want to really play more to the downside, and I'm going to think I just want to quick scalp the long side. If I do get a setup, I'll quick scalp that, but I want to really be focusing in on those downside moves, right? And if you would have played it that way today, right? Play it that way today. We want to scalp the long moves, and we want to really be focusing on the downwards moves, right? What was bigger? Was it the pop, or has it been the decline? And the answer to that is we're trading below the daily 5 and 10-day moving average. The moves down are going to be much more drastic than the moves up. So again, if we get a setup to the long side, think scalp, get in, get green, get the hell out, wait for your short setup, and then essentially we're going to have more follow through on those short setups until we start reclaiming the 5-day moving average. Then we'll have more follow through to the long side, and we'll look to scalp the short moves and then kind of really ride those longs. Hope that makes sense. But like, that's how I've grown to build this system and to start trading this way. Now, again, I don't sit here all day and look at all this mumbo jumbo. I just use it as a point of reference. You know, most of the time I'm just looking at the 20. So for example, I might do something like this, right? On my charts. My charts might look like this. So my eyes are focusing on clean price action over here. Okay. They're focusing on clean price action. And so in this particular case here, what I would be looking at was this. This is how I would look at my charts in the morning time. I'm looking at this level here. So that 15.345, I'm looking at that level. If we break that, I want to be long. Okay. So obviously if I'm long here at 6:45 in the morning or 6:35 or 6:40, if I'm long because we broke this level here, how do I know where this is stopping? How do I know where this potentially can stop? Or how do I know potentially where this can hold? I don't, right? So this is just a pure scalp play. I'm protected because I'm going to use a 1-bar stop. I'm protected. I'm not going to get blown out, but I really have no idea where this could potentially be going besides the 200, right? But if I look at this chart on the right, well, I can see if I'm in this move here, right? If I'm in this move here, I know that that 15.360s, which I pointed out in Discord this morning, is a potential stop. So this 15.345, if I get in there, I need to be thinking about, I have to take profits here, or I need to really wait. I need to wait until the 15.360s gets broken, which was here at 6:45, which is here at 6:45. And then now I need this line, move this line up. And this is my entry. 650 is my entry. Boom, scalp it. 1 move, 2 moves, 3 moves, I'm out. 1 moves, 2 moves, 3 moves, I'm out. We pull back to this area. We don't hold. If we don't hold a linear, now we're back into the middle channel here, and I've got to be thinking downside. So boom, 740, I'm thinking downside. And what's my next area? Macro area on a 5-minute time frame, the 200. Get in short here, ride this little BS bounce here. Boom, take profits down into it. I'm not going to take it all the way down here, but I'll be taking profits here. Maybe I took profits here. Maybe I took a little up here. Maybe I took some here, but you get the point, right? If this is your potential, you got to take profits on the way down. So I hope that kind of helps. Again, you know, this like analysis, you know, is not meant to be set up like, hey guys, buy here, buy there. I hate those type of communities. I hate those type of, you know, discords or people. I want to teach people how to trade. You know, I want to teach people, how do you find these setups? How do you know where to get out? What's your risk tolerance? You know, and helping with knowing the levels where potentially we can stop and where potentially we can take profits at is huge, right? Because now you can kind of make up your own mind on your own and decide where you want to take your profits. Like, again, you know, Biggs, I know he's on vacation right now, you know, enjoying his summertime, but he's really good at it. Andre's really good at it. They've been with me the longest here. I trust those guys, you know, with my trading. Like, if I was to walk away and have them give me a level, you know, I would definitely trust it. It's just because they've taken so many trades. They've done this so many times already. They've seen it work. They've seen it fail. And they kind of know that once you understand, you're never going to be killed. You're never going to get crushed, right? We might lose. Some losses might be a little bit bigger than others, but, you know, we're never going to get crushed on one trade. You know, and the reality of us losing, you know, 10 trades in a row is slim to none. 5 trades in a row is slim to none. So, but let me know if this would be beneficial, right? To be able just to have the screen on and whatever I kind of see here. Also, too, I like using later in the day, like after the first hour to 2 hours, I like using the 1 hour chart. I like using the 1 hour chart to kind of see levels. So for example, if I'm looking at the NQ here at 8 in the morning Pacific Standard Time, we put in this low. If we start confirming this, we've got nothing until the next Bollinger Band. I would be interested in a short here, 15206. Boom, get that. Take your scalp on the way down. That's how I would also use the 1 hour chart. I would also use a 1 hour chart here if we were to get over, right? Get over this level here that we put in, 15443. So but I mean, not a bad day today on the future side of things. I don't know if you guys can see that. 749 today, and that's, you know, playing micros, scalping like a madman, scalping these levels when they show up, and just kind of trying to play them accordingly. But all right, just wanted to hop on here and make sure that this is running right. Again, the way it'll work, I think I'm going to run these in the morning time. Try to get on here pre-market, at least 15 minutes before pre-market, kind of look at what looks good, what doesn't look good. You guys can kind of just tune in, either if you want to put an earphone in and kind of listen, or you guys want to just not listen and kind of tune in when you guys can, but you guys can see the screens at least. That'll be good for you guys. And then, you know, it'll just be for you guys in Evolution Traders during the stream, and then afterwards YouTube is just going to kick it to posting it to the channel, which will be irrelevant to anyone else who is watching it after the fact, because the price action would have already been going on. So it won't, like, it's going to be beneficial to anyone else looking at it besides you guys who are watching it in real time. But again, thanks you guys for letting me know that it's working good. And, you know, we'll get this show on the road.